Hey everybody, welcome. Wanted to do a quick video on fentanyl. Hey, how's it going? How are you? Good. I was finishing up our PowerPoints and only one of my computers went live for me. Where did that go? This one. Okay. So that is weird when it's the same computer you're projecting from. Um, so do you have any questions about the diversity paper tonight, or are you good? Okay, that's cool. That works. Did you get registered with Nikita well? That's good. She's awesome. She's really good. I don't know if you would have any of her classes though yet. Right. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. She's been awesome. She's going to have her doctorate in about 6 months. She'll be done with that. So we're doing finishing poverty, unemployment, homelessness. Do you see any homelessness in your hometown? A lot. I heard it's gotten worse in every city, so I sometimes ask around. Not as bad as like the big cities, but
It's bad, not as bad as that tech city, I forget where it was located.
right, a lot of them's in LA and Oregon. Like the West Coast has a lot.
Yeah, it's not as Chicago isn't. It's kind of bad, but it's not.
Right, yeah, maybe they have more shelter, so there's still a lot of homeless. But so finishing up on that social work and homelessness, our response to homelessness is to be an advocate, ensuring affordable and adequate housing, which there is none right now. I think Chicago's even worse. I think Chicago's like 2,000 a month just to get.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the minimum wage is up there, right? Is it 15 if you're lucky? So that means 30,000 a year, but you're paying 2,000 a month, which is 24,000 a year on housing. That's 2/3 of your income. Advocating housing subsidies and entitlements. So we got like Section 8, strengthening a continuum of care that integrates housing, income assistance, supportive services, funding and prevention programs, including education, job training, and support services, promoting policies that support paying living wages to employees. So we're working on a grant for 3 years. We worked on racial equity and behavioral health. So like in Ohio, who accesses services. I can't remember if I showed you guys our PowerPoint presentation. And I kind of wanted to dig into that though, because it would kind of give you guys a look into the research that we're doing. Let's see here. Actually, I think I would search email. Here it is. But you need to let me know if you guys have already seen this. UC presentation. It might just be saved to my hard drive. Okay, maybe I do have it here. We presented at the grand rounds, and I thought that was just like normal language for a conference, but I found out all psychiatry offices have grand rounds where they like all meet with doctors. And when I said that to the gentleman yesterday, he was a psychiatrist. Um, he's like, "Yeah, everybody has a grand rounds." I was like, "Oh shoot." So let me see. Actually, I could probably look up here too. So we're continuing this research, and the conclusions are that we need more social workers, especially graduates from Central State University. I hate when I can't find stuff as quickly as I want, but um, oh, there is attachments on here though. So here we go. A last ditch effort, I will search my files. See presentation. How are your other classes going? Are they easy enough? Like B's and C's? Okay. What was your high school called? And then was it a um, like a prep, college prep?
I think so. It's not like Wayne Tech
They don't have like a college they direct you into, but all right. So this is our session description, at least. We did behavioral health in Ohio, improving data and moving toward racial equity. So our presentation was literally this: that there's an urgent need to diversify behavioral health workforce in Ohio and higher education. It may be the same in Illinois. Higher education has a crucial role to play. In this session, Ohio leaders in the behavioral health sector will present data about existing racial and ethnic composition of the workforce, discuss the link between a diverse workforce and behavioral health outcomes for people of color, and share recommendations for action. The action recommendations are 3. So recruitment, like especially at our college, and social work psychology, creating inclusive learning environments, and data collection. In the discussion, participants will learn what research shows about how to improve racial and ethnic diversity in higher ed, and be invited to share their perspectives on how to increase racial and ethnic diversity among students seeking degrees in behavioral health fields. Input from participants will be collected and shared with researchers to inform their work going forward. So that's what we presented. They had us all do our bio. So like mine, that I was at Central. I worked with affordable housing in Cincinnati, serving special needs populations, studied psychology and theology. And Xavier, that was in the 90s. And in '01, I did work in substance abuse dependency counseling, and working on my MSW. You want to get your MSW, right? Okay. There's only 1 year, so this school qualifies. And you also don't have to you can graduate with bachelor's of social work and get a license. So you don't have to, but it will usually double your pay. And that's why I did that. I went from 24,000 a year to 40 some thousand a year with my independent license. I also traveled to Salvador and Nicaragua to help build water filtration systems and help malaria-proof latrines, and studied permaculture for third world applications. Worked 3 years at Claremont Recovery Center with adolescents, incorporating therapy through gardening. And then ideas from the horticulture therapy we did with Lighthouse Youth Services and St. Leo's with our refugees. So in the state of Ohio, there's a huge need for, and they're blowing us up too. Wish I could show you the emails on the side. They just keep, they're like, where is the money for this? She said it wasn't a formal submission to the state. There's no RFA. It's an initiative directly from the governor, which sounds scary. So the governor's given us, all colleges in the state of Ohio, $15 million to study racial disparities in Ohio. So it's not going to count your state, but it probably is similar. And we have to write up quickly, so you'll see me distracted often, that there is a need for the study. Okay, and then a lot of times I want to see what you've published on. So I've done a lot of work on trauma-informed care and horticulture therapy, counseling newly resettled refugees, non-conventional education projects with migrants and refugees, grandparents raising grandchildren. You know, any friends that are being raised by their grandparents? It happens a lot. That's why there's, like in Ohio, we have a lot where, because we have a big overdose death population, and when they die, the children of the people who die go to the grandparents. It's sad, but it's at least keeping them in their family and raising them up. So we did a lot of research on that. We did some research on issues, gardening and refugees after they came over here, horticulture therapy, and a few others on hort. So they have you submit that. It does look scary, like all these things, but as you go through your college, I never thought when I was studying my psychology degree, I would ever do all of this stuff now. You know what I mean? Like, that's why if somebody asked me if I wanted to go to graduate school, I would have said, heck no. Like, no. Why? Like, why? And actually back then you could get a job with a 4-year degree. Nowadays it's a lot easier to get a job when you do the 1-year master. So when you graduate, most social work programs have a 1 year. It starts the like 3 weeks after you graduate, and then you do 3 semesters, and then you graduate again, and you get like a gown and tassels, and it's only 1 more year of school. And I promise you, graduate school is no harder than undergrad. People like look at me like you're crazy, but you're going to learn everything you need in the next 3.5 years, and you'll be ready to start 3.5 years from now. I think that would be 2026. You graduate in 26 or 27. Oh, you're a sophomore though. 25? Okay. And you'll get everything you need. It's only 34 more hours. Think about that. Your undergrad total is 120 hours. Master's is only 34 hours. And you're done. You get another whole degree. You can clinically diagnose. You can work in the hospitals. You double your salary. And what I'm also showing is they have a huge need for behavioral health workforce expansion programs. And it's basically showing that the Department of Medicaid is expanding to diversify our workforce, because there just aren't enough social workers to diversify. So we put out a grant for two grants, one at UC and one at UD, and they're both for $1 million to recruit more students and offer like GA positions and TA positions. Do you go home on Friday? Do they really kick you out at 7 a.m.? How do they do that if you have class on Fridays? You know what I mean? Like, right. Like just to stay until Tuesday? And how much is the fee? That's, oh my God. But you're going to be leaving. Hello.
No,
You get kicked out at 7 a.m. tomorrow too?
probably.
Why?
I don't even know.
How are they even doing that?
I have no idea.
Okay. I feel stressed for that. You know what I mean?
My other kids did the same thing. That's not normal. But
That it's not fair that you guys are getting kicked out at 7 a.m.
I
Or
don't
that,
have any classes tomorrow. So.
okay. I only have one computer today, so I'm going live and presenting off of my computer right here. So I was presenting on the racial equity and behavioral health that we've been working on. And the grants that we have for racial equity and behavioral health. How many of you guys are going to graduate school? And then you're both freshmen. So you guys are 2026. Is it a 7? Okay, so then you're 26. I'm like, what year? It's always 4 years from the year that you start, but it's really only 3.5 years, which is weird, right? Because you're done in May and you start in August. Or you're done in April almost. They finish the seniors a little early. So I guess my moral of my story today is it seems far away, but it's very close. And you guys will be applying to grad school before you know it. If you can keep your GPA around a 3 something, you will get offered money by different schools for graduate school. They will pay for your graduate school. As crazy as that sounds, you get a 3.2, they'll probably give you like a full ride. And mainly it's because we are in the state of Ohio working on diversifying our workforce in the state of Ohio. And see if I can find it for you. Do you guys have any questions about graduate school? I can't believe that this is the only session I can find about our research at the moment, but that's okay. So I did a presentation at UC and it's on racial equity in the state of Ohio. What city are you from? Chicago? Okay, so you guys both get in Chicago, that's the only state you don't need a license. Out of the gate practicing social work, you don't, or they give you a license without a test, I should say. I know, because in every I got 75 and a 71 on both of the tests. There's the independent license test, and then there's the dependent license test. So I passed them both, but all you need is a 70. Doesn't matter what you got. But I did study, so it's key to like study for it. Are you guys registered for all of your classes next semester? So you're on pace with this thing with your it is one of the required courses. Oh, it's a half a semester. Right. Okay. Does that one make you the most nervous?
I mean,
Right. Right. I don't like it either. In fact, I liked it so little that I didn't want to um, begin teaching because you have to get up here and talk in front of all you guys. But the more that you practice, the more like what was helpful for me in teaching is I practiced for 20 years. So I was able to talk about my years of practice in the field. And so you draw on that information. You don't have to like just make it up out of nowhere or remember it from a book you read. And that was helpful to me because if I had to be like perfect about the book, I would hate my life because I don't remember everything, you know. But as you practice in the world and some of the stuff makes sense, um, so here is another. I was just showing how much money. Basically, they are recruiting heavily for social workers. There's such a big need. I don't know if this is true in all of your hometowns, but it might be. There's such a huge need for social work right now. They're incentivizing so many different ways. Like Chicago is a good example where you don't have to take the test to get your initial license. Now, if you became independently licensed, where you own your private practice, I think there might still be a test for that. They might get rid of that. The test isn't impossible. I think you guys will do fine. But this is another behavioral health workforce expansion program. And what came up is, and it was due last week, the University of Dayton was writing a grant, and University of Cincinnati is writing a grant to help fund you guys to go to graduate school. And so UE, in collaboration with Central, is trying to help support new clinical mental health counseling professionals entering the field for training by traditionally underrepresented students. The proposal program includes stipulations for students to work in Ohio Improvement Zones, or HSLRA. There's a mental health professional shortage area, and then specifically Black social workers. So like we don't have as many social workers that are Black, and the population of Ohio is about 13% Black, and then I know actually Cincinnati is 40% Black, 49% white, and I think 11% other. Like the big cities, maybe, are you Cleveland? I feel like Cleveland might even be the same. Do you think it's like 40% Black in Cleveland? Do you think it's more diverse?
Sometimes there's only a certain part of it.
Right, yeah. Okay. So that being said, there's just not enough Black social workers. Not to say that a white social worker couldn't do it, but if you're going to a social worker for mental health care, wouldn't you rather have somebody who grew up like you and had your experiences and understand? And that's kind of where the recruitment efforts are coming from. So they're paying for you to go to grad school and 2 years post-graduation. So
What's the point of grad school?
it's only 1 year. Did you know this much? So because we're fully accredited here, and you can keep it together and finish in 3.5 years from now, I guarantee you guys will get money from grad schools. If you can, I know it's hard to stay focused and keep your stuff together, turn in all your papers, because I had a hard time doing it. That's why I'm saying it was hard. I had like a 2.0 for a lot of my college career. And at the end, I ramped it up to get 4.0s for the last 5 semesters. My final GPA was 3.4, and I was able to get grad school. But if you can keep it together for 3.5, just a few more years, I promise you, there will be money for grad school. And there you learn how to become a clinical, like how to run your own private practice, how to supervise other social workers, how to run your own business, how to diagnose, how to do assessments. This is the one stat, though, that will, what's the point of graduate school? It will double your pay. 1 more year. So all of undergrad is 120 hours. Grad school is only 34 if you qualify for the advanced standing by keeping a 3.0. You will double your salary from like 25,000 a year to 50 or 60,000 right out the gate. So you graduate in 27, and then you'll start 3 weeks after graduation and just do 1 calendar year, and you'll be done in May again. Another graduation, wear all the fancy stuff, put on all the ribbons, and you'll double your salary. And that's because you will be able to clinically diagnose, supervise other social workers, run programs. Sounds scary, but the more you learn here and then what you learn in graduate school, you guys will do excellent jobs at this. And there's a ton of money, tons of money right now, even in Cleveland. So if you wanted to stay home to do it, you could. We're the only HBCU in Ohio that's public, but there are recruitment efforts. So this says the BHWP, it will prepare trained leaders in mental health. This is grad school. So you'll be trained in mental health, continue to expand and quality and access to mental, emotional, and behavioral health services throughout Ohio. Obviously, the training would be good in Chicago too. And there's good grad schools in Chicago. So if you don't stay in Ohio, you can go home. There's some graduate schools. Loyola, maybe, have you heard of them? They're everything. They're like a Jesuit, which means like kind of spiritual, but they have an MSW, they have a med school, they have a law school, I think. They got everything. If you wanted to go home, if you want to stay around here, there's certainly OSU, OU, UC. What does Cleveland have? Like, what are the colleges in Cleveland? I should know this.
Cleveland State.
Do they have a social work program or MSW?
Yeah.
Okay,
A couple of my friends go for that major.
for social work.
That's what the only big college out there. They got like little small colleges, but everything is like 30 minutes away, like Akron,
Okay. So there are, obviously you could be a counselor, social worker, psychologist, psychiatrist. I still think social work's the best because you can get it done in 4+1. So 4+1 is, to be in counseling, you've always got to do 2 years of grad school. And that's what I did. I got my doctorate in counseling. It took me a long time. And I wish I had, got a BSW like you guys. Then that advanced standing for your MSW is key. You cut out 30 years of graduate school. So the proposal will use mental health as inclusive term for behavioral health. And they're asking for $1.8 million in funding for the program to conclude halfway through you guys' graduation and submit a final grant. Just recruitment efforts. So UD is another one that's recruiting for social workers. And they kind of detail what you do in mental health. So here in Ohio, 84% were opiate related and overdose deaths. 48% of all behavioral health admissions were opiate related. Intimate partner violence accounts for 14% of all homicides in Ohio, and IPV homicides are likely to occur in the home, twice as likely in the home. 48,000 children are living in homes. Adult reports intimate partner violence is occurring. There's 2 million children in Ohio, 2,700,000, and 81,000 allegations of child abuse or neglect are filed with Children's Services. These numbers include both abuse and neglect and suicide deaths increased by 8% among Ohioans, which is almost double the national increase. The Mental Health and Addiction Advocacy Council reports groups experiencing the highest increases in suicide death rates over the last decade in Ohio. Hello, how are you? Good. Are any of you guys presenting today? I always forget that too. You've already presented your stuff. Okay, good. So this is making the case in, what's your hometown? Ohio? Oh, Bahamas? What's the city then? I've been there before. Nassau? So you guys might have these similar problems also, I would guess. Maybe not as many opiates in the Bahamas. People use a lot of heroin in the Bahamas. That's only an Ohio thing. They like to shoot heroin and smoke it and stuff. but they drink in the Bahamas. Okay. So there could be the alcohol, intimate partner violence, child abuse and neglect sometimes. Okay. So that's what it was covering. Like in the state of Ohio, that's like most of our challenges. And your major is chemistry? That's right. I remember. We're kind of detailing just a overall scope of all the problems in the state of Ohio. And we're also trying to build a resource library that helps end the intimate partner violence, child abuse, child neglect. And then this grant we're asking for is going to help anybody who wants to go in for their MSW to go into graduate school. So that's kind of the point of that money, to make graduate school free. We might not get it for a couple years, but that's about the time you guys will go into graduate school. Social work, but for you, the classes should be the same right here. You got to take math and English and history and humanities and psych and social probably, and even biology, right? Are you registered? Okay. Anybody need help registering? Okay. Good news, and I can close that one too. So, that's efforts to diversify the workforce. This is the end of our chapter 2. So we're also getting into disabilities. Is there anybody with disabilities in the Bahamas? Like sometimes, I know it's a silly question, but like it seems to be, are there good services for people for disabilities in the Bahamas? Or you usually just get like placed with your family and like you're just going to, the family's going to take care of them. I was thinking that. I noticed that when I lived in El Salvador and Nicaragua. I know it's not the same as Bahamas, but like it seems that sometimes in the US, there are some programs, not to say that they have every program covered, but like developmental disability, a lot of times it's from genetic, it's exposure to teratogens like while you're pregnant, even fetal alcohol syndrome is one. So you could have impairments of physical functions, learning, communication, like you might not be able to talk. Cerebral palsy is a big one where you may lose use of a limb, but your brain is fully intact. Some challenges could be self-care, learning, mobility, communication, major life activities, and capacity for independent living. So up here, we have a lot of places that help with independent living. We have one place that's called LADD. It's Living Assistance for the Developmentally Delayed. And I do have a, you don't have that personal communication and touch, and a simple question that can be asked face to face right now, you're emailing the teacher 25 times, never respond, or, you know, a simple question that can be asked face to face right now, you're emailing the teacher 25 times and they never respond. Do you have any experiences like that with any of the, so it's better to come in like, hey, that assignment night, what do we have to do in this? And I can answer it for that with any of the, so it's better to come in like, hey, for that assignment night, what do we have to do on this? And I can answer it for you. Or that if you want to do your final next week on Thanksgiving break, you're more than welcome to just ask questions or turn it in. So here is LADD, developmental disabilities. I'm going to see if they have a video because that seems to describe it the best. But these, like the last 2 or 3 weeks, we cover living assistance for developmental disabilities, and then working with the elderly population. So those are like the last 2 weeks that we're going to get into. You guys have all the questions for your final paper, so that should be good. So if the video wants to play, I'm going to show you LADD. Anybody have folks in their family with disabilities or cousins or What's it called?
Alzheimer's?
Well, yeah, of course, because you can't take care of yourself as you progress, right?
It's
Like,
under, like, a senior living. It's kinda
Right.
like an apartment, but
Right.
just-
like somebody needs to make sure she doesn't just wander off into traffic,
They
right?
have like the wall, it's like the doors open, and then they try to escape.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because you're like, why am I locked up? It's like further in, but you're able to visit them, right? Do they sometimes remember you?
She doesn't, it's weird, because she doesn't remember like who I am to her, but she'll know my face, like I'll come in and she'll be like, oh, happy, but she doesn't know like,
Right.
she'll be like, oh, this is my niece.
Right. Yeah, Alzheimer's is a big one. We'll get into that in the last week. But like caring, and that's what I do at hospice is work with the elderly, and there's lots of different reasons why. How long has she had it? Like a few years now or longer?
So my granddad had dementia, and
Which is similar.
after he passed, it kind of just like started. I don't know exactly if she got it before, because he passed in 2020. I don't know. It just started to like progress. Like, I don't know exactly when she actually got it. 'Cause she would do stuff, much of it. So I would say like either 3, maybe 4. We don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Right. Yeah, because it definitely affects how you can see folks. Oh, is this all their videos? So, and this place was started for folks with disabilities. Alzheimer's would be more of nursing home, but it's very similar. You need help with daily living. So, is that 50 years now? Almost 1975. They started in Cincinnati. Disability Service. They're piloting a new service model called Smart Living, utilizing smart homes, tech-enabled support. I wonder how that's going to go. If like the kids one day get pissed and decide to smash the computer, you know what I mean? Like, but maybe they can build them indestructible. I don't know, but I've not seen this, but I bet you they.
LAD has grown to be since then. LAD has grown to become one of the largest service providers of its kind in the region, but there is still more to be done. LAD has a waiting list that is years long for its housing and services. And with 1 in 41 boys born on the autism spectrum, people with disabilities living longer, and the opioid crisis resulting in more disabilities among our babies, the waiting list continues to grow. At an annual cost per person, $50,000 a year, Ohio taxpayers already invest heavily in a system that, even with its current $4 billion annual investment, can only serve half of the people that need such services. Finally, to add to the crisis, there is a massive shortage of people able to deliver supportive services. With growing demand, the high-cost services, and staffing shortages, a new service model is needed. What if we could further into pitching a 3-year pilot with Xavier University's occupational therapy program to measure the impact of technology on independence for people with developmental? Let's take a look at just a sampling of the technology inside the home. We will start with the bedroom. Most falls occur between the bedroom and bathroom at night. The walkway to the bathroom will have ring fall prevention lighting that illuminates at night when someone's feet hit the floor. Smart beds that monitor body temperature and sleep patterns to ensure LAD can intervene if someone is sick, has a seizure, or has wandering tendencies. And an integrated video screen that can customize visuals that are reminders for daily tasks like time to shower. Let's move over to the bathroom where safety and hygiene are at the forefront. Smart faucets that include automatic shutoff and temperature control to prevent scalding. An integrated customable assistant that can communicate help with tasks or get help or request assistance. As for accessories within the bathroom, daily hygiene will be a critical component, including smart toothbrushes. Now for the kitchen, where there will be technology installed to ensure safe cooking, cleaning, food ordering, and med administration. There will be a smart pill dispenser that can regulate and monitor medications taken. A smart oven for safety. A smart refrigerator that can order groceries and allow support staff to see inside the fridge from a remote location. And an integrated screen with customized videos for assistance as well as remote support. An additional feature of the smart home is a sensory room. A sensory room utilizes 4 of the 5 senses: hearing, touch, visual, and smell, in a space designed to help a person calm down if they're overstimulated. Wearables are also a critical component to the smart living pilot. When a resident leaves the house, remote support staffing will effectively intervene through smartwatches and other devices for things like seizures, getting scared or nervous based on heart rate monitoring, getting lost, or something as simple as assistance in making change. LAD's plan is to have these homes in clusters with a central monitoring location that can oversee a multitude of homes and quickly be on site if a person is needed. Currently, LAD has purchased 3 homes in Blue Ash and is looking to purchase additional homes in Anderson Township as part of the Forever Home campaign. The cost savings to Ohio would be astronomical if through technology staff person being supported ratio. A parent's ever-present thought when they have a child with a developmental disability is, what will happen when I'm gone? This thought lives with them in every quiet moment. LAD wants to bring a solution to these parents and their children. One grounded in the belief that people with developmental disabilities can not only live, but thrive as our neighbors, fellow employees, and citizens. Together, we are building communities where all are welcome and where the power of technology is harnessed to elevate our humanity and change what is possible for thousands of people across Ohio who experience disability.
I've never seen that, but I was thinking to show you a video of how social workers do that type of stuff. And this is more.
I love it. How are you?
I really like this house because, well, it's big and a lot of room. We can play like cornhole in the back or in the front. Like bring some couple friends over, like toss the football, dribble the basketball, or do other fun things.
So those guys have Down syndrome.
I think it's awesome. I think it's exciting.
How do we take technology that it could be affordable? The 4 guys that live here, it's going to take what we learn here, really increase people's independence by just learning and growing and changing the way we actually provide the service.
We have thought and felt so long, what it would take for us to provide Drew with a situation like this. And, the cost, the expense, the right supports, the right environment. We didn't imagine that was going to happen for so long, or if it could have even happened at all.
I think it will be great because I will to know the guys that I'm living with and be able to be back in my home community.
It was unbelievable.
There are no words. You took a step into a future that you never imagined was possible. It's indescribable. And I know I'm at a loss for words, but there are no words to describe what we see and how grateful we are for the opportunity.
I feel like this is just giving me a chance to be Jim and go as far as he can, and I'm very excited, very grateful.
I don't know the words to say it. It's just, I'm finally home.
Yeah, I did work with.
Hey Alexa, put on Dance Blast.
Okay.
How much does it cost? Call us 20 minutes early if I can. Do you guys have any questions? I know your paper's. I'm down one computer, so I had to film off of this one. Any other questions? Any thought of what you all want to do when you graduate from college? social work. It could be anything. That's what's cool.
So I want to go social work, but I kind of want to work with kids. I need to work with kids social work.
You can. That's the majority of our jobs, actually. Med school? Dental school. Okay.
What?
When you graduate.